Sometimes I think it's necessary for there to be an event to galvanize our attention, to turn our attention to a subject. And we've had the Flint, Michigan lead in the drinking water issue, which has suddenly sort of galvanized everyone's attention. And you've got cities all around the country that are going, maybe there's lead in my water and we should check. And what they're finding is that there's lead in everyone's water. And so that's just really shining a spotlight on a much bigger issue, because lead is, yes, it's a devastating contaminant to have in our drinking water, but it's certainly not the only one. And so it shines the spotlight on our entire water infrastructure.
We could not have life on this planet without water. Research shows that water has an almost infinite capacity to carry information. Water not only carries information, but it carries energetic input.
For quite some time, the predominant view has been that we are fundamentally glucose-burning, ATP-driven machines, and that the mitochondria are really the primary locus for understanding cellular bioenergetics. Where do we get the energy to run this body machine? And what has been discovered recently is that on a very basic level, partially because the body is 99% water molecules by number, that water does have the ability to carry a charge, store it, and then transmit it, and actually provides energy on the level of what ATP provides for the human body.
Jerry Pollack's work, I think, has really helped move that field forward, of showing, very rigorous science, that the structure of water, and to understand that any water inside the body has to be structured.
We found something interesting about water. We found that unlike what we all learn as kids, that water is said to have three phases: solid, liquid, and vapor. We actually discovered a fourth phase, and it is not a trivial phase, that is not a trivial amount of water. It's actually a massive amount. Long ago, famous physical chemists suggested a fourth phase, and there's been a lot of talk over the years about an ordered phase of water, that is where the molecules, instead of the water molecules being randomly disposed in the liquid, they're actually ordered in some way, like a liquid crystal of sorts. And that's what we discovered. And why is this important? Well, it's important because this is actually the kind of water that fills your cells. We all think that our cells are built of H2O, but in fact, most of the water in our cells, and also outside our cells, is this fourth phase of water.
Since the cell is anywhere from 60 to 80% water, we see how important it is, but more importantly, what's the charge in that water? So what has been proposed is actually with the aid of the electrical charge of the water inside the cell, or the cytosol, this is how some of the ingredients that are needed by the cell for its proper functioning actually brought in by conformational changes in the cell membrane, or conformational changes in the receptor itself or the channel itself, brought about by the electrostatic charges or the electric charges in the water.
Infrared light has the ability to transform what's called bulk water, the water that we drink every day, into something called exclusion zone water. And around the cells in your body, you must have this exclusion zone water that magically allows proteins to fold, allows mitochondria to make new electrons. If you didn't have water that's been transformed this way, nothing works in the body. You'd be dead.
As soon as light hits structured water, it's able to convert a photon into an electron, and that electron is stored around the charge of your cell's membrane and basically starts to act like a battery, or if you like, as an alternative source of energy beyond just our normal food.
This is a mechanism of energy storage that the body uses. It takes energy from outside, light energy, it converts it to potential energy, electrical charge separation and ordering, and then uses this energy to drive all kinds of biological reactions. Is it possible that your capillaries, which receive a lot of light, is it possible that they get energy from the light that builds easy water charge separation, effectively drives blood through the capillaries? And of course, we wanted to test that idea, and I'm happy to report that, at least in preliminary experiments, it's supportive. So we're pretty confident that the heart may be the major driver for flow in yours and my cardiovascular system, but it may not be the only one. It's apparent that infrared energy is contributing energy to drive the flow in our cardiovascular system. And that energy could come from outside, or it could come from the metabolic reactions that are generating heat in our body. So when you have a situation with water outside in nature, exposed to infrared, the water can be sitting in a pond, the water can be inside of a plant, for example. This light, especially the infrared light, builds structure, it builds easy water.